on July 27th, the Mariners split a frustrating series in Anaheim and got the best, or the worst, depending on how you look at it, of the Kyle Hendricks special. Welcome to the Dom Skiing channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. And the Mariners lost this game 4-1, game 106 it was, to the Los Angeles Angels, a frustrating series split before you head into Oakland, in what is the longest stretch of the season without an off day. That's right, the Mariners off day yesterday, August 4th, was their first in nearly a month. It's been a trade deadline, an all-star break, a home run derby champion, shout out to Cal Raleigh, and a lot else since the Mariners had an off day. The Mariners finally roll into the game today against the White Sox in the series after their first off day in over a month. But this was a war of attrition where you got by Kyle Hendricks. And if you know anything about Kyle Hendricks, he's a guy who's throwing low velocity sinkers to you and trying to just keep you off balance enough to where you can't square them up, and he gets a lot of grounders and fly ball outs, which led to him having an all-star season with the Cubs back when they were awesome and won the World Series and broke their drought in the mid to late 2010s. But now he's a guy who you feel like you can get every time when you go up against him. And when he's on the Angels now, a division rival of ours, it's especially frustrating to drop a game to him, especially when you've got a guy like Logan Gilbert on the other end who has 7 strikeouts, goes 5 innings, but gives up 4 runs on 3 hits, and also gives up 3 walks, a homer, on just 4 hard hits on 88 pitches, whereas Kyle Hendricks makes it through 6 innings, allowing just 1 run on 2 hits, while walking 1 but striking out just 3, including a homer, and giving up 8 hard hits on just 71 pitches. More than double the hard hits Logan Gilbert gave up on less pitches, on 17 less pitches. So when you look at the numbers for both of these guys, you can really just see the weaknesses of the pre-deadline lineup for the Mariners. Without Suarez, this lineup is susceptible to a less than stellar pitcher and I'm trying out a new camera setup right now, so let me know what you guys think of the camera setup in this video. But this lineup, especially without another masher in Suarez, was susceptible to a sinker baller like Kyle Hendricks, who just lives without them punishing him for a day. And that's what happened here. He only gets 7 swinging strikes on the 71 pitches, obviously only 3 strikeouts. 34 sinkers, 26 changeups, 8 four-seams, 3 curveballs. And the big thing here is the fact that sinker and changeup is all he needed to keep us off balance. Eugenio Suarez, coming into this lineup, the one thing he does is punish with power. And so it's hard to say, because is he really the answer to a game where we're not necessarily striking out too much, but need a little more contact? Especially considering the Mariners, this was an ugly game where we had a 209 XBA, but the Angels had just a 152 XBA. But they scrapped together 4 hits while we only scrapped together 2. And so more than anything, it feels like our putrid offense on the afternoon lost this game than the Angels playing extremely well. And when you look at Kyle, the fact that it's Kyle Hendricks, if you've been following baseball for the last 10 years, if you know anything about pitcher profiles, and Kyle Hendricks is a very specific one. He's the quintessential 92-mile-an-hour sinker guy who is just trying to live on the edges and try to induce weak contact a little bit. And he did enough of that. This lineup was the lineup that I liked, and I said that in the last video. It's JP first, Julio second. You've got Cal Raleigh hitting third, and then you got Naylor slotting in ahead of Randy, which I would prefer Randy than Naylor. But then you got Polanco after the big 5, sixth, then Canzone, Williamson, Young. And you even brought in Dylan Moore to pinch hit for Canzone at one point. I have no issues with Williamson or Young. I'm actually a little bit upset that Williamson went back to Tacoma, hit a triple in his first at-bat in Tacoma, and then now was scratched from the lineup today. I don't even know what's going on, but I would not be surprised to see him on this team, whether it's in the next few days, as a September call-up. Ben Williamson's going to be coming back. I just don't think it was great to take him out of this lineup in the first place, because even in a game like this, he walks once, doesn't strike out, and hits the ball hard in both of his registered at-bats. So his batting average was only .252 after this game. His batting average was never low enough where I felt like it was totally justified taking him out of his spot in the lineup. And firstly, because his defense is amazing. And even when Suarez came back, I was preferring that they would put him at DH and keep Williamson's spot in the lineup. But second of all, because Ben Williamson is a pest. He gets the pitch count up. And I'm worried that with Ben Williamson out of the lineup, we're going all in on power and accepting a lot more strikeouts. But we took our biggest pest out of the lineup as we did that as well, which means pitch counts are just going to fly down for opposing pitchers against the Seattle Mariners right now. They don't have to, everybody's basically trying to hit homers and strike out again, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry DiPoto told us we need to salary dump in order to get away from this philosophy less than 2 years ago. And now that team did miss out on the playoffs by half a game to the eventual world champion Texas Rangers. However, we already went away from that philosophy, spent 2 years going in the other direction. Ben Williamson feels like the perfect pest, and then we take him out for a guy who's going to strike out and hit homers. This is the game where you made that kind of reaction, and you ended up going and getting Suarez really shortly after this game. But I think this could have been the game. This kind of was the game that exposed the pre-deadline lineup for its problems, just not having one more big bat to punish. Those final four, Polanco, Canzone, Williamson, Young, clearly they didn't feel like something was going great with those, and they didn't like the order of Crawford, Rodriguez, Raleigh, Naylor, or Rosarena. It becomes a weird kind of roster crunch here, and then we're going to kind of go over what happened in the next few days. But really, and Logan Gilbert, I've got no issues with the way Logan Gilbert's pitching right now. He looks skills-wise as good as he's ever been. 11 swinging strikes on 88 pitches at a 90.3 mile an hour average exit velocity. The thing I'm worried about with Logan Gilbert is the pitch count and just being able to pitch like a veteran from start to start right now. Because sometimes he does it, but sometimes he does still get into these pitch count battles. Excited to see if he can just bring that consistency the rest of the way. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Going to get on to the Game 107 recap here in a moment. I'll see you guys there. Go Rams.